Hello, hello, and Happy New Year, everyone. I am going to be joined today by Misha, who is a gorgeous, gorgeous life coach. But more than that, she is an amazing person, and she's already here, so I get to invite her on. Just give us a moment to hop on together. Ah, there she
Hi, Happy
is.
New Year.
Happy New Year. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm recovering from COVID, but aside from that, good. How are
Uh,
you?
Good. I managed to escape that this year, this week that we were off. I was actually off the whole week, but two of my kids got it, so it was kind of fun. Uh,
Good
and
time.
I know this sounds really weird, and I don't even know if I should say it, but I kind of was like, I was hoping I actually got it, so it would just be over, because like this waiting
Oh,
game thing is like so stressful. So
that's a positive spin for me, though. I,
yeah.
yeah, it's so crazy. I actually had it. It was only like last Tuesday where I was like literally like couldn't function, and
Wow.
I almost emailed you because I wasn't sure how I was going to feel, but I
Yeah.
I feel better today, but like totally brain fog and slower.
Huh.
um but yeah, it's crazy. It's
I
so
know. Well, I'm glad obviously there have been many people who've been really hit hard by this, so I don't want to dismiss that. But I mean, I'm glad that are feeling better and you're feeling okay and kind of coming out of it okay.
yeah, thank you, I know, me too. It was, yes, agreed.
Yes, yeah.
Thank
I
you
know
so
it's
much
great
for
for an interesting week off with your kids, I'm sure. That's how I looked at it. It was like my kids are older, so it wasn't really as big a deal, but I felt bad for them because they didn't get to do anything. But for your situation is like they're little, so it's very different. Yeah.
it started with my middle kid, then I got it from her, then my son got it. So yesterday was my first day out of the house since December 15th,
What?
and hasn't even gone back to school yet. He's going tomorrow.
Wait, there's a life outside of your home? What do you
Yes,
mean?
I was like, oh my God, Evan! Like, oh my
You
God.
definitely are celebrating and giving yourself a happy dance with that one, right?
Totally. God, yes, totally.
Oh God. Well, I hope this is good. I hope the rest of
Yes,
like January and February and March, you don't even hopefully you don't have to worry about COVID at least. You can
I hope so.
hopefully,
Yes,
right? Just move
totally.
through and be able to enjoy the rest of the year, the rest of the winter without being too crazy, at least without COVID anyway. So
I hope so. I know. I
yeah.
hope I left that in 2021.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Last
I'm
year's
so
problem.
I'm so excited to have you. I've been like really excited to chat with you. Misha and I connected through a mutual friend, Danielle, who was actually also a guest. And as soon as we like connected, we were like, wow, like we were so excited.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I know. I'm so honored to be here, that be one of your guests. You are an incredible person. When we were chatting, like you said, I was just like, oh my God, she's
yeah,
just. I feel like my long lost mother from another mother. I don't know,
no, it was
but
long sister
sister
from
from
another
another.
mother.
Whatever. But yeah. I thank you for having me and organizing this.
I loved it. I love it. I love it. So I guess we just start a little bit. Tell us, I'd love to hear everybody's journey. And I think that the journey is such a great story for people to hear because we all have a journey and we all have similar or yet different things that happen to us along the journey that shape us and are kind of the catalysts that move us into something else, right? It's something we learned from this, wherever it is. So I'd love for you to share that with everybody.
Yes. So I think as we all of our journeys are so multi-layered, but I'm going to try to focus on like one common theme, which really informs my work today. And that is, about 10 years ago, I had a complete health breakdown, where literally I found myself on the heels of, so I had a business that closed down. I was dealing with like massive betrayal from a business partner. I had a lawsuit. I was like in,
Wow.
I don't even, I guess I didn't tell you this part. Yeah. So anyway, it was a whole bunch of stuff that at the time felt like it happened to me. Of course, we all know that we attract everything in our lives, or it's whatever, you know, part of our initiation into a higher realm. And I see it all as a blessing now. But at the time, it certainly didn't feel like that. And when it was happening, I had a death in the family. My sister was going through a divorce. It was a whole bunch of stuff. And I was under so much stress. And it was in that time that my husband proposed to me. And I didn't even, I couldn't even imagine, like, I wasn't in a place where I felt like I could even get married to anyone, because I was like, my whole life just crashed down. And I was just dealing with like a lawsuit from betrayal for people I trusted implicitly. So I was petrified of any legal agreements. I was petrified to trust anyone. Yeah. And then we got pregnant. And so I had so much stress, and a bunch of other stressful things happened, that right after I had my first child, literally my health broke down. I couldn't walk. I had extreme pain in all of my joints, to the point that like I couldn't even type. I couldn't, like, when I'd start if I would start to talk, by the time I'd start talking, I couldn't even remember what I wanted to say at the end of the sentence. I literally, I would watch like my husband like walk out the door, and I'd be like, where did he go? I had no memory. I didn't lose any weight. It was all stuck on my body. Like, I used to always have like a spitfire metabolism, and then all of a sudden I was holding on to all this weight that just no matter what I did, it wouldn't go. I had rectal bleeding. I had anxiety. I had depression. I had like just chronic migraines. I had like about 65 different unexplainable ailments. And I was a new mother. And I literally couldn't understand how I would see, like, you know, mothers going to playgrounds and going out for coffees and doing play dates. And in my mind, I couldn't even understand how they had the energy to like get dressed or hi. And so thanks for joining. I'm telling my story of what brought me to where I am now. And so I was just in such chronic pain. I couldn't lose any weight. I had like brain fog, all of these things. And I was struggling to figure out why I lose the weight. I was struggling to figure out like what was going on in my body. And as someone who's always been deeply passionate about holistic health and wellness, I couldn't believe that I was dealing with all these things. I was like, I've always been able to crack the code. Like, why can't I figure this out? Well, after I continued to like search for answers, there was one day where I finally was like, I need a doctor who can get to the bottom of this. And I went to a functional doctor, and he basically explained to me that everything I was experiencing was associated with stress. I always had a whole bunch of stress related issues. I even became insulin resistant. I had something called high reverse T3. I had like stage 4 adrenal burnout. I had all of these things. Whoa. And so we started working together, and as we began my healing journey, I would like, after working with him he was like, you literally cannot I wasn't allowed to do any exercise. I wasn't allowed to do like anything that would add stress to my body. And we put myself on like we repleted my system with a ton of like, I was very, very depleted. And so we put a lot of, tons of vitamins and minerals. We detoxed my gut. We repopulated my microbiome. I did all of these things. And we started to like, all of a sudden I was brought back to life within a few weeks of like completely stripping my body of any stress. Yeah. I started to like, all of a sudden, like weight started to drop off. My energy started to come back. My eyes were glistening, all this. But then I also found out on that 6-week visit that I was pregnant with my second daughter. And I was also, by this point, I forgot to mention, but I was working in corporate fashion, which is where I spent my majority of my career. And so I was like, I kept having this 3 steps forward, 2 steps back process where I would heal a little bit. And then I would be tackled with another stress related issue. Yeah. And so frustrated. I kept being like, I don't understand. Like, I'm doing the yoga, I'm doing the meditation. Why do you keep telling me that I'm getting diagnosed with all these stress related things? Like, how am I getting it? And they're like, it's from stress. And so this went on for a while. And I finally got to the place where I was like, I don't understand. Like, how am I supposed to not be stressed as a working mom of 3 at this point? I had 3 kids in 3 years. And I was like, I don't understand. Like, I'm doing the things. Why do I still not feel good? And then I learned that when I really, really, really started to do their inner like investigation, I realized that the reason that I was feeling so disconnected, the reason I was experiencing the stress was actually because of my disconnect from my sense of self. It was really when I checked, it was my thoughts of like how I was, being like how I was beating myself up for like doing things, or I was people pleasing, or I was over giving, or I was feeling upset with myself because I messed this up, or I did this, or I didn't like the way I looked in the mirror. I didn't like the way like all of this, right?
That crazy negative chatter that fills our brains and gets you spinning and
exactly. Right. And I was just like, oh my God, it's never ending. And when I realized that like none of that was actually true, it was all this like just this toxic like programming and conditioning that really wasn't actually true. And when I realized that that is what's causing the stress in my body and my life, that is what's causing my system to be so out of whack. It's actually not the the commute to work or picking up my kids. It's actually all of this inner mental gymnastics and this inner toxicity that's separating me from my truth, separating me from my sense of self, and is causing all of this chaos and stress and toxicity in my body, which is making everything worse. And I realized that by healing my relationship with my sense of self, by really coming home to my truth and really like healing all of the trauma and those like those wounds and all of that conditioning, by doing that, all of a sudden my health transformed and my life transformed, because it was just like, it was all of that was slowing down my metabolism, which was impacting the way my sleep was, which was impacting it was impacting my hormones, my metabolism, which was impacting my sleep, which was impacting my hunger, which was impacting my cravings, impacting my energy, impacting all of it. But by getting to the root and creating that inner flow and alignment and reducing all that stress, I was able to just it had a ripple effect, a cascading effect on all other areas of my health and my life. And so I then realized that like we all spend so much time focusing on trying to, find the right diet, find the right fitness activity, look for answers here, look for answers there, when really the truth of it is that we don't actually need to do any of that. When our body is in flow and it's in an alignment, it actually craves natural foods. It naturally falls asleep when the sun goes down. It naturally works, it functions, and we feel good. And so my work, it really brought me into this work of helping overwhelmed, time-starved, stressed women step into their highest self by really reconnecting with themselves versus searching externally for answers. And it actually is so freeing and so liberating, and it's so transformative. So
well, I'm first of all amazed. I'm always amazed at what stress can actually do to the body, because we kind of throw that word around very lightly sometimes, like, oh, I'm stressed, and there is that kind of like daily, like, oh, but then that really deep internal stress that gets you what your mind really can create, and that it's almost like watching a movie and you're like, holy moly, like, why was I thinking that? What is going, like, it's just this thing that won't turn off, and how that can really affect your physical body and how it kind of manifests in your body. I find so incredible, because I do feel that, there's such a mind-body connection, right? There's always that mind-body connection. And then for you to really realize that, and I think this is a big part of your, the journey in general, is we want to turn outside for validation, and we want to go outside to tell us like what to eat, what to exercise, what job we should have, how much money we should make, like how tall we should be. Like we want everything on the outside to tell us, and we want to almost like passively, sit there and just go, okay, I'll do that. Okay, I'll do this. Okay, I'll do that. And when we do that, we go so far from who we really are. And so really, like you're saying, it's all about going inward and turning in, and everything, all the answers are inside. And you're able to really heal yourself from the inside out.
Exactly. No, 100%, literally. And it's funny because when I think back at all the running around that I did, from like this coach to that coach to this practitioner to that doctor to this, and at the end of the day, I didn't have to do any of that. Like, really, at the end of the day, like, you know, yes, it was part of my journey and all the things, and I'm so grateful for every person that was there. But the real truth is that, like, if we learn the tools to look inside ourselves, if we learn the tools to understand the wisdom our body holds, if we understand the unique code of our body and like understand like the cues it's giving us, we understand how to interpret them, when we understand how to connect to our intuition, we can guide ourselves. And we can, to your point about the voice, like, we can quiet that voice, because we can learn like what our own like inner critics and inner saboteurs are. We can learn how to quiet them, because we can be aware of them. We can stop being in fight with ourselves and with the world. We can work in harmony with them. And like, it all comes down to like self-awareness and self-trust. And it really is, when you say like the mind-body connection, it really is like there's actually something called the gut-brain axis, and it literally like is, you know, our thoughts actually connect to what's happening in our gut, and our gut is the epicenter of, it's the brain of our body. And so it really is all connected, and we're so, many of us are so disconnected, and it's not our fault, because that's how we've been conditioned. We've been conditioned through marketing, and hi Serena, and everything else, buy the next eye cream and the next Chanel bag and the next this thing to make us feel better. And so we haven't been taught that like we can go inward for things that are make us feel so much better. So it's not our fault, but the truth is that we can. And that is like the biggest gift that you can give yourself, because you can really be your own healer.
Yeah. It's like the God living within. God lives within us, and he resonates, or I don't know where everybody is religion wise. I believe, the God, but anyway, within us, and then inside us, we can tap into that. It's there, right? It's all there. We just have to tap into it. And, whatever society, whatever has made us believe that's not important. And that's the most important, right? That's
totally.
So yeah. I love it. I love that your journey is so incredible. And I think that there are so many people, I'm going to say people, but I really feel women who are at that cusp, who are kind of like, what the heck is going on? Like, I don't feel good. I'm exhausted. Maybe they weren't to the extreme that you have been, but they definitely have walked that walk where they are feeling completely drained, overwhelmed, frustrated. They don't feel good in their skin, like all of those things. As you work through, I know it's always hard to go back, but if you were to able to like give the audience like maybe 2 or 3 things that you could say, like if you're just beginning this journey and you feel the way I felt, what are some things that you might suggest, or are some things that you actually did, I guess, that helped you get through it?
Yeah. So I think the 2 things that I always recommend are, first, I think meditation. I think it's one of the most, I think it's really important to learn to create a practice of settling our mind, cleansing the debris of yesterday, and really just grounding in. And it doesn't have to be a whole thing of like, sitting in lotus pose or whatever. And because if you're a busy mama like I am, I'm not joking, sometimes I literally will put on a meditation while I'm driving, because just hearing the mantras can help me just like drop in. But if you can, I think everyone can spare 2 to 3 minutes of just sitting in a quiet place and literally like hand on heart, hand on belly, and taking some deep breaths and reconnecting. I love Insight Timer. It's a free app that has like all different meditations, and you can choose by like length of time or by what you're feeling, whether you're anxious or whether you need sleep or whether you're overwhelmed, and you can select one that'll guide you. So I really recommend even just starting with 3 to 5 minutes of daily meditation in whatever way you can integrate. And then I also really deeply believe that journaling is like it's access to your intuition, it's access to your subconscious, and it's the way that we can re-hardwire all of those toxic beliefs and patternings, and it's a way we can live more intentionally. So by you being able, there's a few ways you can do it. One is just free writing, which I realize can be hard for many. So I'll talk to, if it's hard for many, my other suggestion, but really just busting out your journal and without thinking, letting your pen go, just constantly letting it go. And even if you're like, I have nothing to write, start writing. I have nothing to write, literally, whatever. Yes. And let your pen keep going, and you will be surprised by what actually comes out on the page. It is when you do morning pages is what it's called. It actually quiets your inner critic. It quiets your ego mind. And that allows you to see all of the lies that we tell ourselves during the day. It allows you to see them and actually like motivate yourself. Like instead of saying like, oh, I'm a piece of shit, or excuse my friend, or whatever, you can you're like, that's nonsense. Of course I'm not. I'm this. You see yourself differently. It's very motivating. You also can really start to, it's like, when you're talking to a friend and you're like trying to get advice on something, and as you're talking, you're like, oh, I just got my own answer. That's kind of what happens when you start to journal. You're like, oh, I just figured it out, because you have the space, which we don't typically give ourselves space to do. You're creating space for you to like have the downloads, have the insights, and give yourself the guidance, the healing, and the support that you need, and also to unload and get all of the stuff that's taking up real estate in your brain out. It's just very like, it leaves you feeling light. It leaves you feeling motivated, connected to yourself, and really like, what's the word? Like, inspired about to take action for the day. You've now motivated yourself. And if you feel stuck, with like, I don't know, I can't just sit and have a book and not have a direction. A few things I would say. One, ask yourself, how do I want to feel today? And really drop into that feeling.
Yes.
And try to ask yourself what you can do to drop into that feeling, because by being in that feeling, you'll start to live that out during the day, and you'll start to create your intentions for the day that'll align with you being in that feeling, which will give you the results you want. Or ask yourself, how do I want to show up today as a mom, as a wife, as a career, whatever it is that you're doing in life. The other thing that I like to do is do this sandwich process, where starting with first, anything I'm celebrating, anything that's working well, anything that's going well, like just put it all out there, taking note of, even like this morning, it was like, I didn't eat ice cream yesterday after the holidays. It could be something because then you're like, ooh, and it could be something as silly as I got out of bed today for some people. Like, there's no judgment, but writing the things that are going well, because our brain is so good at reminding us of all the things we need to fix, and all the things that are not doing well. So by reminding ourselves of the things that are going well, we start to switch over that patterning of constantly seeing what's going wrong. Then you do a fear inventory, and you tap into like everything that's feeling icky, anything that's like feeling heavy, anything that you're just feeling like not good about. And you just kind of like, even though it doesn't feel good, you should do it because, well, one, we're going to fix it after. But the main thing is that when you have, when you are able to acknowledge what's living within, the bad stuff, you can take the charge out. You can face it. You can look at it, and you can be like, oh, okay, I have this thing. I can now actually work with it. I can figure out how I want to deal with the situation. But when we don't, when it's just living in our brain and our body, we're feeling uncomfortable about the thing we said to the person, and we're feeling bad about it. It's just like taking over, and it's a much bigger thing than it actually is. And when we write it down, like, oh, I feel bad that I said X to this person. Oh, okay, I guess I can go apologize and make it, you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. It's like not, it's just, so you want to face it, you want to take it out, take the charge out, write out, get it all out. And then you, on the other side of it, you create new intentions, and you make new decisions. So you decide how you're going to deal with those things. So like we said, I feel bad about the thing I said to that person. Okay, I decide that today I'm going to write a letter to that person and apologize. Or I feel bad about the fact that I ate fast food yesterday. Okay, I decide I'm going to eat more healthily today. My intentions are blah, blah, blah. And that gives you a really beautiful framework to set yourself up for a day of clearing everything out, celebrating yourself, and having new intentions, for the day that feels supportive and in alignment with your highest good.
Yeah. I love, so both those things that you have suggested are both amazing, because that's, and they're part of like my formula as well. And
Love it.
I love I'll talk to the journaling and I'll go back to the meditation, but the journaling piece too, I did morning pages, the same thing, started there, and it kind of has evolved a lot. But what I would say too, is sometimes it's just that monkey brain, like, especially in the morning you wake up and your to-do list like jumps ahead of you. You don't even have your foot out of the bed, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta get the kids, I gotta do this, and oh, today don't forget to do that, and oh, the doctor, whatever it is on your to-do list for the day. And you haven't even gotten out of bed yet. Like, I'm like, wait, the day. And so historically, that's how I started my day, right? I would get out of bed and I'd be like, and I just start running with my big list of things to do. And I love that you were just saying that, kind of like to reset. You're resetting yourself, actually. And I love the way you explained it. With that journal, you're getting all that monkey brain out, the crazy to-do list, all the things that you didn't do right, all that all out. And someplace it just gives it a space, a holder, right? And then you get exactly what you're talking about. You get clarity, you're tapping into intuition, you're tapping into like, okay, so that happened. What can I do to make it, if I really feel better, what can I do to make it better? Or how do I want to feel today? And I just love that kind of guidance. Like, if you don't know what you want to write about.
Totally. And I also think, just to let you guys know, I just remembered this, but like, if you're like how I was at one point, or like any of my clients, whatever, if you're very busy, like I just wanted I was at a point where I just needed someone to literally hold my hand and walk me through the process. Yeah. What are you talking about? Like a mindfulness process? Like, what are you talking about with like this? So I have a free 5-minute, like it's called a mini mama reset on my website.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
So if you go to Misha Vayner, MishaVayner.com, and you click, you don't have to be a mama to do it. I just call it that because I'm a mama, but it's literally me walking you through literally every single thing I do, step by step, from like the breathing to the meditation to like mantras to the journal prompts. And you can just sit and replay it every day if you need to.
Oh, I love that. I love that. But free, so we'll make sure we include that in our notes here.
And I have one more free thing, if I may.
Yes, of course.
I have, if you're feeling like out of alignment with yourself, if you're feeling like you're just like stuck in your well-being and your life, and you're just like can't figure out like what exactly it is, you're tired and you just want, again, like you need somebody to give you the clarity. I have a quiz on my website where it's just like how to align to, like, I forget what it's called, but it basically is a really quick quiz where you could take, where it'll tell you exactly, you'll get an email to your inbox. It'll tell you exactly what's out of alignment and exactly the next steps to take to bring you back into alignment based on your specific results. So you can get that on my website too. It's like right on the home page.
Oh, perfect. I'm going to go do that. I love
that. Oh, I would love for you to.
I love that. And I love that you brought up meditation as well, because I feel like it's been brought up a lot of the different interviews I've done. And it's funny because I feel like that's the one thing that meditation and journaling, I feel like people resist so much, right? Like, and then I have to say I was one of them, right? And then once you start doing it, you're like, why did I resist this? But the meditation that you had just said, like putting your hand on your heart and your hand down on your lower belly, and just even taking like 5 to 10 breaths in and out and slowing everything down. I forgot, but I've been using that for years. I kind of forgot I was even using it. Like just now on my journey, I had learned it. Sometimes when I just transition, because like I work out of the house and then when I'm coming home, and sometimes I'm bombarded when I'm walking in, and it's like, and then it's like, again, that to-do list, and I kind of switch gears, and or on my way into work, and it's going to be a busy day. And sometimes you could just sit, like it's not like meditation, like you're sitting for 5 to 10 minutes, but you can just take a few breaths and just calm your nervous system down and calm yourself down. And I love that you said that, because then when you whatever that next action or activity that you're engaging in, whether it's with your family or work or whatever, you're coming into it with a different energy and a different space. So I love that you kind of said that.
Yes, I tell my clients, we call them energy buffers. And exactly what you said, I'm like, before you come in from work and you go to your family, or even some of my clients, I have ER doctor clients, from going from one room to the other, I'm like, go into the stairwell or to a bathroom for a second. and just take a few breaths or reground, because we're actually taking in energy. We are energy, and we're taking in energy from other people too, that is ours. Someone's in a bad mood, someone cuts you off, someone that you don't even know that's in front of you on some line is feeling, and we're like feeling it. We come home not only holding our own stuff, but all this other stuff. And then, like you said, the mental to-do list and the this and the this and what we have to do. And it's a lot. And by just taking a pause and releasing all of that, really, really, really helps you to give you a clean slate, or at least a cleaner slate before you now go to take on more energy with your kids or your family or whatever it is.
Wow. Incredible. Like incredible. Like I just think it's like, and it's simple and it's free. I was like, it's free. It's simple. You can do it. You don't have to like go any place or do anything. You don't need you don't need anything. You can just do it.
Yes. And I feel like people think because sorry, I had a hiccup. I think people think because like, I don't know, because it's free and because it's in our body, because it's like people are just like, oh, whatever. Like, because we're so used to going outside for things. And that's what I want you to know, is that like, it's all ass backwards. You actually, this is what you need. Like, you don't need to get that stuff. And it really is a rewiring, because we have been so conditioned. And so knowing that it's going to feel inherently wrong when we tell you all you have to do is take a few deep breaths, you want to tell give me a pill. That's what you want to tell me. Give me a pill. And I want to tell you, the pill is your deep breath.
That's so true. And I mean, I'm guilty. I've been guilty of that as well. So like, I think we're all been guilty, because that's how we've been conditioned. Like, just give me the quick fix. I don't care about all the other stuff. I just want the quick fix. And whatever that looks like, I want the quick fix.
Right. So you have the quick fix inside you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That is awesome. I love it. Is there anything else? I know you shared with us the two beautiful, the journaling, which we've had a lot of fun with, and the meditation again, which we've had a lot of fun with. Anything else that you'd love to share with the audience, just in terms of, like some things that you would suggest?
Totally. I think, so there isn't enough emphasis put on pleasure practices and
Oh, I'm so with you.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say, when you say the word pleasure, that word alone can bring up so much. Right?
Oh yeah. And I don't necessarily mean in a sensual or sexual way, which could, that's also fine. But also what I mean by it is, so like dropping into things that activate the five senses. So like our touch, our smell, their taste, but like really when you actually, instead of like slapping on the lotion after you get out of the shower and like being disconnected with your brain about the next five things, but really like making it a practice of feeling the lotion on your body, really really smelling the scent, because that allows you to get out of your brain and out of your head and into your body. And when we do that, we really slow down our nervous system. Our parasympathetic can kick in, and this does so much to us regulating and like releasing stress and this tension that we carry. And we're so not conditioned to continuously drop it, whether you want to call it pleasure or self-care, but really, like we were talking about the brain, how it's constantly looking for danger and fear and telling us what's wrong, because that's how it's wired. It's trying to protect us. So it's constantly in this negative loop, and we have to put effort into remembering the things that we're doing well and focusing on them to offset all of that and to re-hardwire pathways. It's the same with our body. We're in this constant masculine energy of go, 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 do, and we're not actually offsetting that intensity and that stress in our system with pleasure and self-care. And we really need to like double down on that. And so, if I know it may sound luxurious to like take a bath, but maybe even it just means lighting a candle before bed and like, putting on some nice lotion or doing a nice skincare routine a little slower, really connecting with the process. Even if you're doing the dishes, instead of like rushing through them and like actually making it a sensual practice of like, I'm going to feel the water running on my skin. I'm going to be present in the experience. I'm going to look out the window and see the beautiful trees. I'm going to connect with it.
Yeah.
Is disassociate with something and just like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%. And I would say that's probably for, I mean, I'm going to be very transparent here. For me, a very difficult thing to do. And I catch myself very frequently because, yeah, like, so I'm doing the dishes and I've got the dishes going and something's cooking and I'm multitasking, you know, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a second, stop. Do one thing, just do one thing, right? And be present in that one thing, enjoy it, see it to completion, right? And I think as moms, that's what happens a lot of times, not to say, and I think other people, I shouldn't just exclude, but I think a lot of times we're multitasking. We're not just doing one thing and really enjoying the one thing, right? We're always thinking of the next thing we have to do.
Totally.
So to like keep bringing yourself back to that present moment and bringing yourself back to the present moment and finding the pleasure, not just bringing yourself back, but finding the pleasure in that moment.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Moment feel like delightful almost.
Yeah. And it's funny that you bring that up because I've even and that's one that I struggle with more, that I struggle a little bit less with, or I've made it a priority to actually try to bring pleasure into like my day or week by doing things, like trying to find things that just bring me joy. So like, just like, might be like going for a walk, or it might be like, you know what, I'm going to go window shop down a main street because I love to do that. Like that's something that lights me up. I don't even have to buy anything, but by myself, without, you know, I call it taking yourself on a date. For that same reason, because then I'm worried about pleasing everybody else and doing right. But if I take just myself and I go and I get to do what I want to do, it kind of fills you up with that pleasure feeling. And I think that's the piece too, right? It's a little bit of both, like trying to find that balance and stuff. But yeah. I love that. I love that, you know, coming to back to, again, it's right there in front of you. You're going to do the dishes anyway. They've got to get washed. You might as well enjoy it, you know, or turn on, you know.
Totally. Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing too. It's that I think like, when we're focused on, when we're in the present moment,
yeah,
it just allows us to, making it more pleasurable, and we can just get out of spinning in our heads.
Yes, exactly. 100%. And I think that what you are offering is so amazing, because I think that, for you to share your journey and now be able to work with women and help them through this journey is just incredible. So I would like you to just share a little bit about the programs you offer for anyone who's listening, obviously now or in the future, that, you know, they want to connect with you, and good ways to connect and all that stuff. So
yes. So I have two ways to work with me. One of them is I have a one-on-one coaching program called Align, where we will look at, of course, my dog wants to get out. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead. I'm having light issues, so don't worry.
Go ahead, buddy. Sorry. So what we do is we take a full assessment of everything that's going on in your life, from your stressors to your nutrition, to your movement, to your self-worth, your relationship with your partner, like everything. Mm-hmm. And we look at what's out of alignment. We bring the pieces that are out of alignment back into alignment, so you can have some like quick wins. We cover like the low-hanging fruit at first, but then we start to do the deeper work of deconditioning from like all of the patterning, all of the stuff that is taking you outside of being deeply connected to yourself, help you build really deep mind-body attunement, really help you connect and build this body intelligence so that you have the awareness and the tools to understand how to navigate your own body, so that you understand, like when we were talking about before, like what it's saying, what it's actually asking for, and then how to most successfully fulfill those needs, therefore leading to more life fulfillment, for more better well-being, more success. And then we create harmony and harmonize the system. So you have this body that, and this, not only have you brought your body and your life into alignment, but you also are now equipped with the tools to anytime that you're brought out of alignment, anything that life throws you off, or anything, something happens, you now are fully equipped to understand your unique body and bring it back into alignment, which is the most empowering you could ever have. And then on top of that, so what happens, it's a 6-month program. We meet like weekly for the first 3 weeks of every month. You have full access to me over Voxer, which is a voice messaging app. So you have free laser coaching as you're trying to integrate things as things come up. And so there's that program. And I have one spot opening this month so I could take one client starting the beginning of February. So if you're interested, definitely reach out.
Okay.
And then I have a program called Glow and Flow, which is a mastermind. It's going to have a total of 10 women. I have 8 spots available. And it starts the first week of March. It's a very similar program in that it goes for 6 months, and we meet for the first 3 weeks of the month. Instead of Voxer, there's a Facebook group. You're guided through the same process, but you'll get video modules of trainings to do on your own. You'll get journal prompts, and then there'll be 2 groups of 5. We'll meet for an hour each week. You will get coached on for 10 minutes on the call, but you'll also be in community with other women, which is really, really, really nice. It's a very lonely journey oftentimes, and it's nice to be building these deeper bonds and to have this community where you could be alongside someone on this journey, and which is so supportive. And for people to see you, for you to not feel alone, and that so like I said, I'm actually just starting to launch that program. So I've sold 2 spots. There's 8 available, and both of those you can go to my website, mishavayner.com, and you can there's information for both, or you could reach directly out to me. I have a free Facebook group called Feel Good Wellness, where I live every week, and I provide free support and accountability, so you can join that. And I also am hosting a free masterclass next Friday, the 14th at 1 p.m., where it's called Release the Stress and Feel Your Best. And I'll be able to go deeper with a lot of this stuff and give free coaching. So lots of opportunities.
That is awesome. All right. So it's Misha. How do you spell your last name again?
MISHAVAYNER.
Okay. .com. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody can kind of reach out if they want. I'll try to remember to put that in the notes. I sometimes forget, but I want to make sure that we get that out there. I love that you're offering 2 ways to work with you. One is the one-to-one, like you said, you can go deeper and all of that kind of stuff. And sometimes when you start, you might want that. But I do have to say, I was on a journey with, and it was 10 women as well. And we get together still monthly.
That's so lovely. I love that.
And we are so supportive, and we were on that journey together. So we get each other's history, and we have the same language, and we have, it's a real community. And I loved that because we connected, and they're really from all over the world. And so we try to still meet. It's been over a year since that was over, and we still try to meet monthly. Some can make it, some can't, but, and we actually did start our own little Facebook group, like just the 10 of us.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
The power of sisterhood cannot be underestimated.
Yeah. And you know what? We call in fact, I got a text today from somebody, and I couldn't connect. I didn't have time to do it, but she was like, I need to go through this process. One of the processes that we need to go through this process. Are you available? And I'm like, I'm not. Call so-and-so, like that kind of thing so it was kind of nice. It's always nice to have that, and
yes.
I feel really blessed to have that in my life. So not negating the one-to-one. I don't mean it. I just saying that the group has they both have really good things to share. And I just want you the audience to know that either one is great and beautiful and will work for you, whatever you just decide on. And the other piece I like is that you're breaking that group up even smaller, though, to do some more coaching, which makes it nice, so that if there are 10 people on a call, there's less time. I mean, you'd be on for 2 or 3 hours versus if you do 5 people. So that's a great way to really be able to it's very personalized, because much
I
Nice.
like personal, I like intimate, and I also can't be on Zoom for 3 hours at once. Like I like to, and so I just like, I think that it's more supportive to do smaller, intimate, and, less, I think we all could use a little less screen.
Hold on one second, Misha. Yes, hon. All right. Love you. I'll talk to you later. My daughter's leaving. um, so yeah, I think I think it's great. So if anybody would like to really connect with Misha or at least tap into some of the free things that she offers.
Yeah.
Always about the free too. Like,
Yes.
kind of hang out with Misha on Instagram or at her website, find out more about what you're about and your energy. And, I know when we're in this kind of work, it really is about connection and flow. And so I love that you're calling it, what is it? What is it?
Flow and flow.
Flow and flow. I love it because I think that it is that energy connection. And if you really connect with Misha, definitely reach out because I think that that's really, important. Who's visiting? Is that your pup?
Yeah.
And hi. So I want to thank everybody who stayed on for the call. I know it was a little bit long, but this will be on my feed. So if you want to hop on to Shift Your Gaze, but I will also be sharing it with Misha, so she will have it. So if any of her peeps want to, check it out, they can. And I am so excited that I got to speak to you. And I know I'm going to be speaking to you again. I'm reaching out to you again. So
yeah, thank you so much for having me. So kind of you, and thank you everyone for joining, and I hope to connect with all of you.
Yeah, great. Thank you everybody. Have a great night. Thank you, Misha.
Bye.